But let me tell you, I got a story to share with you all tonight. So, this was Thursday night. So, as a birthday gift, my sister pre-ordered me Pokemon Legends of Arceus. So, me and her went to our local GameStop to go pick it up because they did a midnight release for it, and which was cool. It was really nice. She didn't have to do that, but I really appreciate it. And Legends of Arceus has been pretty great so far. But the story here was that oh my goodness. So my sister lives about 50 minutes away from where I live. And so after the midnight release, I went to go drive her home. And that went fine. I dropped her off and everything. And then I was on my way back home. And this is around 1:30 in the morning or so. And all of a sudden, my car flickers on the inside. My dash is completely off. My screen goes off. I get into like the slow lane. And my car died. It's never done this before, but my car died at like 1 a.m. And, oh my gosh, let me proceed to safety. No. And so my car died at like 1:30 in the morning. And I mentioned this on my last stream, but my phone service was also out because
phone service provider
shutting down 3G. So my phone was deactivated. So I was legitimately stranded in the middle of nowhere at like 1 in the morning. And I was like, oh my God. Like I was panicking. It was not fun. So I call, I try to get
phone service provider
to reactivate my phone through the website, but my phone wasn't connecting because like at this point I was waiting for my new phone to come in, but at this point this was an emergency situation and I would have been doomed otherwise. So I couldn't connect to their their website or whatever to reactivate my phone. I had to call them, which there is a $4 fee for doing that, and that's total BS. But anyway, so I reactivate my phone. You know, I call my sister, I call my mom, like letting them know what happened, that I'm fine. You know, but let me tell you, being stuck on the highway and having like semi trucks go 80 miles per hour next to you at 1:30 in the morning is absolutely terrifying. I did not like it at all. But so, you know, I'm stranded and I'm kind of trying to figure out, like I'm trying to start my car. My car is not working. It's not like the ignition doesn't run. My so I have a Prius, and fortunately the the caution light still worked, because I think that it's still like I think my guess is that my spark plugs or my fuse blew out or something. I'm no mechanic. I wouldn't know. Oh, this was a real life nightmare for sure. So, but here's where the fun happens. So about 20 minutes in, while I'm stuck there, I call my mom. I'm talking to her, and this other guy pulls over, and I thought, oh cool, he's gonna come help me out. You know, we're gonna, you know, like, and this is like at 2 in the morning at this point. Like I was there for like 20 minutes. This guy pulls over, and I'm gonna call him Jeremy. So Jeremy pulls over, and he, you know, first thing he does is he's like, "Oh man, I ran out of gas," and then he's kind of talking to me a bit, and then the first thing he does is he takes a piss, and I'm just kind of like, all right, well, I'm facing away as I'm talking to this guy, and you know, everything's fine, and chill or whatever. He wasn't like intimidating by any means, but there was something off about him. And so at that point, fortunately for me, I come from a family of night owls, so my family was awake at like 2 a.m. and I was probably about 30 minutes away from my parents' house. So you know, I call my brother to see if he can come get a like bring jumper cables and a can of gas, because this guy's issue was he ran out of gas in his car. Apparently, he got his car like 3 days prior, and his dashboard doesn't work or something. So, both of our cars, Drunken Jeremy. So both of our cars were down, and we were trying to trying to work out some kind of game plan here of either him jumping my car or me taking me getting him gas. We were both at an impasse. And so, my brother was on his way, and, it's like a 30-minute wait or so. And it's like 30 degrees outside. It's pretty cold. So, at that point, his car still, granted, it was all on gas, but his heater still worked for a bit. So, we're talking, we're chatting, just basically just general stuff or whatever. And at one point, he asked me if I had weed, which I'm like, no, I don't. I also don't really smoke weed, but I'm like, I don't have it. I'm sorry. And, but then later on that night, he asks, while we're hanging out, in his car, waiting in his car, he asks me, he's like, hey, do you mind if I smoke? And I'm like, oh, yeah, go for it. It's whatever, And I was expecting this gentleman to pull out a cigarette or possibly a joint, despite not saying he had no weed earlier. No. This guy pulls out a crack pipe and proceeds to smoke meth right next to me. And I'm just like, well, that happened today. And I'm like, at that point, I wasn't confrontational with the guy or anything, but I'm just like, holy shit, I want to get out of this car right now. And fortunately for me, my brother showed up 2 minutes later. But, and again, he wasn't threatening or anything. He wasn't he wasn't I didn't have a bad interaction with this guy, but the fact that he was smoking meth right next to me was no, I don't want to be near any of that. And so, what was it? My brother showed up. My brother, he brought jumper cables, and he brought a gas can. Fortunately, there was enough gas to get him, the other Jeremy, back on the road. And so Jeremy was able to go home and do whatever, or meth or whatever. But we tried to jump my car to no avail, and it was very devastating because I was tired. At this point, this was at 3 a.m. I am exhausted. I just want to go home and sleep. And so I call while my brother was, because my brother also had to get gas for his car, and I told him I would try to see if I can get somebody to tow my car, because again, the jumper cables didn't work. So I call 3 different, air quotes, 24-hour towing places in the area, and none of them picked up. And I'm exhausted, tired, and frustrated. And so I did call one in my town though, and to my surprise, the guy picked up, and I'm like, hi, and I'm very awkward at this, because this is my first time I ever had to ask for somebody to tow my car, but I'm just like, hi, I am in a bit of a predicament here at 3:30 in the morning. My car stopped working, and I was wondering if I could possibly get my car towed from this town. It's 35 minutes away back home. And then the guy's like, well, you should probably, call somebody in the area. And while I was explaining to him, I'm like, yeah, I did that, and nobody picked up. While I was explaining that to him, the guy hung up on me. I don't think it was a malicious thing for him to do. I don't think he did it, intentionally. But I am it's 3 in the morning. I had to deal with Meth Head Jeremy, and I'm exhausted, tired, and either want to go play Arceus or go to sleep. I went to sleep. But I was just come on, man, help me out here. I'm dying. But so then around 4 a.m., my brother decided, it's all right, yeah, let's just go back to my parents' house for the night. And I didn't sleep well. I was also paranoid if, again, I wasn't in the car too long when this other guy was smoking the crystal. But I'm secondhand meth isn't a thing. I hope not, because I don't want to be exposed to that shit. but yeah, so I went home. I fell asleep on my parents' couch. I did not get a good night's sleep because I was just like anxious about my car. And like the following morning, I took my parents' car back to my house. I finally got somebody to tow my car back home. And on my drive back home, because it's like, again, they have to drive like 40 minutes or so. When I took my parents' car and I started driving home, I was like, all right, I'm gonna stop at the bank first because I'm very adamant about using ATMs. Like, I don't like using them because it's just like ATMs from other banks is the thing that I try to avoid at all costs because I don't like to buy my own money. So, I was gonna head to my bank first, but my roommate then calls me. Fortunately, that my phone service was working since I reactivated my phone. My roommate calls me. He's like, "Yeah, the towing guy is like right outside our door," and I'm like, "Well, crap. I guess I'm not gonna go to the bank. I'm gonna have to go. There's an ATM that's close by to where I live. That's like in walking distance." And so the tow truck guy comes in. He puts my car down, and I'm just like, "Yeah, I'll get you your cash in a minute." Or, well, first I asked if I could do it through card. He's like, "Oh, there's a 4% fee." So I'm like, "All right, I'm going to get you your cash." And so I run to like the nearest ATM. Like, I just got home and I'm immediately running to this ATM down the block. And I'm like, first of all, I'm out of shape. Like, I mean, I'm not out of shape, but like in terms of like workout and running, I'm still at it with Ring Fit, but I am out of shape. But I just remember running back to this gentleman, and I'm just like, "Here's your $125." Like, just like completely exhausted, and that was my Thursday night / Friday morning, and that completely messed up my whole like Friday. Like, I was just like exhausted, tired, and grumpy, and yeah, I mean, I got to interact with the meth head, so that was fun. And you know, like I said, it could have been worse. It could have been a lot worse. Like, yeah, it sucked that it happened, but like, it could have happened at like, because sometimes I'll have to like drive out of state for work. Sometimes. So, like, it could have happened with me, like, so much farther away from home, and, or, like, again, my family, I come from owls, so, like, usually there's a member of my family who's awake including myself, at some point in time. But yeah, it could have happened on my way to work or something, and that could have also been an issue. And it also wasn't raining, so, like, there's some positives that, you know, I could say about my situation last Thursday. And like I said, at least you didn't get to see any Mafia at 1 a.m. Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so it could have been worse. You know, I could have been, like, Meth Head Jeremy could have, like, I don't know, like, pulled a gun or something, you know? So, as terrible as it was, it could have been a lot worse.